we want to talk now about absolute value. So the absolute value of a number, and let's just call that number x. X could represent any number at all. Well, the absolute value of x is the distance, so think of distance, between that number x and 0 on the number line. So here's a couple of examples. So let's consider the number 8, for example. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to let x be 8. And let's mark 8 on the number line. So we'll take our 8. Now 8 is to the right of 0 on the number line. So let's maybe put it here. Okay, and then what we're looking at is how far from 0 is 8 on the number line. So how many units away, right? We're talking about a distance. So the distance between 0 and 8 is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're saying now that this number 8 from 0 is 8 units. And here's how we're going to write that. We're going to say the absolute value. When we say absolute value, we use these vertical bars. We put the number inside, and we decide how far is 8 from 0. Well, we know it's 8 units. So we're saying here that the absolute value of 8 is 8. I'll write it down here. The absolute value of 8 is 8. And here's what it means in terms of our definition. The absolute value, right, here's our absolute value down here. The absolute value of a number x, now the number we're talking about is 8, so we put 8 there, right? 8. The absolute value of the number 8 is the distance between 8 and 0 on the number line. So here's what this says. I'm going to write this in English here. Here's what this says. This says that the distance between, I'm going to use BTW, between the number 8 and 0 on the number line Now, what I've written here, this part right here, the distance between the number 8 and 0 on the number line, that's this part right here. Okay, not this part, just this part here on the left of the equal sign. This, when you read this, this is a symbolic notation for this. The distance between the number 8, what we see inside, and 0 on the number line. And then we have the equal sign, so we'll write that as the word is. And then we come to 8, so we'll write that as 8 units. So when we read this entire statement here, right here, it says the distance between 8 and 0 on the number line is 8 units. Now let's look at another example here. How about if we use the number x to be, say, -5. So let's go negative, so it's going to be left of 0. Here's -5, and what we want to indicate is the distance between -5 and 0 on the number line. So what is this distance here? All right, so we know that from 0 we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units out. Now we're going to the left, but we're just concerned about the distance now. So we're going to say that the absolute value of -5, right, put it in the vertical bars, is, what did we just say? We counted 5 units. So I'm going to write that down here, right? Let's take this and put it down here. So we're going to have this as the absolute value of -5 is equal to 5. And now what we're saying is, okay, I'm going to write that whole sentence again here. The distance, I'll abbreviate, the distance between, BTW, between the number -5, right? That's the number that we see inside. So as soon as you see the absolute value bars, think distance. The distance between the number inside, -5, and 0, that's our home base, and 0 on the number line. Now, what I've got so far is the left side. That symbol, those symbols right there, it says the distance between the number -5 and 0 on the number line is equals is, now what we have is 5 units. Not -5, but 5. because if we count here, we're at 0, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away. We happen to be going to the left, but we're still 5 units, like maybe 5 inches or 5 centimeters or something from the 0. So just for an example here, to see if you can get this, how about if I write this? This will be the absolute value of negative 4 equals 4. And see what you can do. Just take a minute and write this in sentence form, all right? Write it in sentence form like we've done down here. I'll write it up here. You can pause, and then I'll write it up here, and we'll see if we get the same thing. Okay, so let's see if we got the same thing here. So I'm going to read the left side. The left side says that the distance between the number, the one I see inside, negative 4, so the distance between the number negative 4 and 0, that's our base, on the number line, so here's the left side, the distance between the number negative 4 and 0 on the number line is, right there's the equal sign, is 4 units. We get the same thing?